Okay, day 5. Whoa. It was obviously raining last night, but not now. Okay, day 5, so I think we're expecting more cases. And anyway, get the sense that people might be getting prepared now. This is now officially new normal territory. We will wait and see. So I got my COVID test done, which was good. That was in the hospital, and it was very quick and slick. And why did I get it done? Well, it would be awful the amount of people I would have, and spaces I would have been in yesterday if I hadn't known I had a COVID swab. One of the trickier things at this time of year, I think that a lot of people in the hospital are thinking about is asymptomatic and symptomatic. If you're fully symptomatic, then it's kind of easy, and I don't think people would honestly let things get that bad before thinking about getting a test or self-isolating or but you know, this time of year there's a lot of people with grumbly little throat things, little runny nose, maybe even the achy thing. So yeah, you know, asymptomatic or symptomatic, it's a tricky one. It's an absolute tricky one. A few people walking out today on the Sunday, it's good. Hardly any mask use, which is a bit strange, but I guess last time we didn't have that, but we didn't have the Delta, so anyway, that's just an observation. And so yeah, so I tried to catch up on the news last night, but obviously super late in the evening. So the Australia story, gee whiz. So I don't know what's actually going on there that much, but what they showed was the protesters, and I know people get in a bit of a pickle. Why are they showing protesters, and should they be showing protesters? Anyway, there was some stuff about the protesters, and wow, it looked really feral. I mean, they were spraying this, it looked like, I don't know, it looked like Diet Coke, really. They were spraying that on them. Maybe it was Diet Coke. Oh, that would be a nightmare. As a dad, that would be like, oh my god, this is sticky. But they were spraying some foam thing, which didn't go far away, but it was kind of looked like a brown, foamy thing. Anyway, some of the protesters brought their kids, which, I mean, I think that is, that's really upping the ante, where you're using, I guess they're using kids as shields. I guess that happens in other war zones. I remember the Batman movie where they used all the civilians, the bad guys, used the civilians as shield and dressed them up as the clowns. The Joker dressed them up as the clowns, so he said they're actually the good guys. So yeah, kids getting dragged into it, I think, is a real new low, really, because I do have time for the argument that there's some individual rights here, but you really got to wonder the individual rights of a child when they're being dragged to these events and seeing their parents being arrested, really, and arresting some of these people during a lockdown. Seems like a nightmare squared, because they're flapping on the ground, they're yelling stuff, you can't observe distancing. They seem to want to pack in. What I don't really get, I'm not sure if anyone's interested, or maybe I just don't understand, why are all these protesters, they're unmasked themselves? Like, if you were gonna protest, which I think there are potentially some reasons why you could say, look, I've got individual choice here. Why won't you put on a mask? Because you can protest the lockdowns, but it doesn't mean you need to get COVID. Or is that like a prospecting tribal thing? Like, you know, you really earn your stripes if you actually get Delta. And apparently there's one dude who they know has Delta, and he's going around Sydney and trying to spread it, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. Oh dear. Now these lights don't appear to be working. I think we're just gonna have to... Oh, there we go. That was a long time. Anyway, so... so the Australian thing is really weird. And, I mean, I remember last time that it was just full of people videoing people going into Bunnings when they're, I guess, at what we would call level 2 or 3, and saying, oh, I'm not wearing a mask, and a sort of young 17-year-old going, well, what do you want me to do about it? And then just being in their face, and a lot of aggression. But I saw this funny thing, I can't remember who tweeted it, but you know, there was a Mitre 10 mega super spreading event, and you know, you see what's happening in Australia, and someone was saying, oh yep, don't worry, at Bunnings we'll beat whatever Mitre 10 do, Mitre 10 by 10%. And it sounds like their super spreading events are way bigger. So there's a whole lot of people in the CBDs, and yeah, I don't get why they just don't stop access, like just stop people getting to the CBD. Maybe that's easier to say and harder to do, but I guess people could congregate elsewhere, especially on social. You could figure out pretty easily where to get together. They did say there are a lot of parties and other things happening, which yeah, I'm still sticking by. I think they'll get to 1,000, but yeah, crazy mob mentality scenes. If they're gonna protest, wear a mask though. I presume you have to be, to get into this club, you have to be unmasked at all times. And not, what's the opposite of social distancing? Social together, like just squeezing up to people, unvaccinated. And there's probably some other, for the true believers, the true bleeders, you need probably to be anti-vax on other things and anti-government, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, don't know. Yeah, I think there was a little protest here, but I think the police knew who these kind of people were, and there was a plea made on Twitter not to promote this or not to cover it, but I don't know. I think most of our stories here are about testing queues and vaccine lines, which, I mean, those are good things, I guess, when you see what's happening on other parts of the world. I'll try and do a picture-in-picture, because I haven't done that yet, but maybe I should put my little hand up, and then I can say, okay, I'll try and put a picture right here, that, yeah, so it's been a crazy thing with other parts of the world as well, with, I wouldn't call it mob mentality, but just lots of people, and you're wondering what's really going on. So, Afghanistan has been freed, or I don't know what's happened. Anyway, the Biden, yeah, America's moved out of Afghanistan, and I think my take has been, this has been a disaster at the start, even probably before the start of them coming in, then when they came in, during the whole 20 years, which some people, that's probably their only known experience, that this 20-year war or occupation, and now that they've left, now they did say, oh, we trained up all these people, but you know, I don't think there was any fighting even. I think they just said, yeah, the Taliban are in there, but I'm not probably saying it right, Taliban, but what's their side of the story? I know everyone seems to universally hate Al-Qaeda, their military, but the Taliban, I wonder what's their side of things. I know this. They gave a press release. They've actually been seeing some signs they're functioning as you would expect a coup group to do in a more conventional way. Yeah, it's really interesting because one of the things which I think it'll be something etched into your brains is watching those people cling to the plane and then falling off as it took off. And some of the people in that video, and I fully don't know what's going on here, they seem happy when they're clinging to the plane and dancing around on the airport. And I don't know. I mean, it sounds awful, but maybe they don't. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe this is a thing of excitement or joy or difference, or maybe they think this will end some suffering. But yeah, there's one guy who I try and get on the video who's really looking happy, and the poor pilot, well, he's got all these people on a plane. I've never seen anything like it. And then the landing gear goes up and these people plop off. I don't know what happens if the landing gear goes up and they didn't plop off. I mean, did they let go on purpose? What were they? Who knows? But apparently, like, way over 90%, over 95% of people in Afghanistan, which I gather has a very young population, they don't know what 9/11 is or was. So that makes you wonder what's really going on. And the whole American thing of, I mean, did they get the resources they wanted? I know certainly Iraq and Iran, and particularly Kuwait, there were a lot of oil reserves, but I guess the US is not so worried about oil reserves. I heard that Afghanistan's got a lot of other reserves and other materials, but it's very difficult landscape to conquer, as the Afghanis know themselves, the Russians, but there's so many other oppressive regimes, and I don't know. People always cite World War II and Hitler as kind of the worst thing, and probably due to his expansivist plans, but I guess they were cooking up stuff for a while. He was planning for a while. I mean, do we know, is there a Holocaust happening right now in, I don't know, Afghanistan, in China, in North Korea, in Russia? So a good chunk of the world's in Africa, a good chunk of the world's population is still in oppressive situations, and you probably have to think that's actually maybe the most normal scenario for a lot of people. So yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Yeah, so we will see what happens today with the latest news, but yeah, sad thing. So New Zealand's trying to get some New Zealanders out of there, but I don't know. And so my COVID swabs, I should talk about that, because some people might be a bit scared. Certainly some person in my house is pretty scared about that. It's not that bad. It's like, it's less, you know, when you're a kid, or even now, if you have Coke and it goes up your nose and you get that kind of, it's that kind of feeling. It's actually when they put it in, it's okay, and then they twizzle it, and that seems to go on for a bit longer than you want. But it's when they pull it out, I think. And I've asked a few people, it's the pulling out bit that I think people, yeah, have a little bit of a difficulty with. But I don't mind it. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be the last one I get, so you just gotta detach a little bit and just do it. But yeah, so I mean, I think in Australia they do quite a few of these for people working, like the 15-minute test. So I don't know which test I got in the end, but it was very slick. So shout out to the DHB. Get a little QR code on your phone, and then they verify and scan, so it's all really good. Oh my god, a police has pulled over someone else. Jeez. I think I've still got that suspicious eye whenever I see something moving. Like, why are they outside and what's going on here? I thought I heard a plane yesterday. I was like, what? But it was a helicopter. But it seems like it was the police helicopter. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is the police helicopter out? I mean, I know in Australia that's probably important with what's going on there. So we've got relatives in Brisbane, and they actually got burgled during lockdown. That seems like, what? Because I understand here the crime rate went really low, which you'd imagine, because if you're a criminal and you're like, oh, I think we should break in their house. Oh, hang on, they're at home all the time now. That would be pretty difficult, but talking to my relative, who I know very well, my brother, he said they don't care. Pretty brazen attack. In fact, they stole 2 cars, which I wouldn't have thought were that easy to steal, actually. From a house I wouldn't have thought it was very easy to steal. From a house I've personally struggled to get into, even though I know how to get into it. So that's really sad and weird and scary. But some of it is apparently a younger generation thing over there, where there's a lot of confidence in not only not getting caught, but nothing happening if you do get caught. So, I mean, that's really, really scary. I think in general, it's great to see the PM landing New South Wales and calling them out like, look at those guys, we don't want to be like them. Have you seen that? Yeah, let's try and not do that. And I think most people are like, oh yeah. All of us, I think, not all of us, some of us who think, oh yeah, it's okay that there has to be a bit of flexibility in people choice, go, oh yeah, but look at that could be what it looks like. And yeah, so no, it's good that they're calling things out there. I think on the whole New South Wales Australia thing, they're really giving this term lockdown a bad name, because they don't seem to be, what we call lockdown and what they call lockdown seem to be different. The outcome is definitely going different, particularly for New South Wales. And just the what a spectacular show they're putting on of protesting and fighting, and not even the information they're giving is very clear. So many exceptions to what's essential. Okay, another policeman. What's going on here? Well, I mean, presumably here, getting your smack on Lincoln Road, that's going to be, people are going to say, well, that's pretty essential for me. So, oh gosh. It's interesting watching some of the more mentally challenged members of society still walking up and down Lincoln Road, talking gibberish or rapping to themselves. But they're getting their exercise, they're getting some sunlight, which we have today, thank goodness. So hopefully people can get a walk in. It does look like it's going to be a bit windy, which is a bit of a bummer. It's like I'm going to have to get some petrol at some point. But so let's see what today holds. We are expecting more calmness. There was a massive effort to close an ED and then reopen it again, which I don't think anyone has ever seen in the hospital system before. So things are still really dynamic and changing all the time. So anyway, I'm nearly at work now, so I'm going to exit here.